Good evening, for Enterprise fans, and welcome to another race in the All-Fort Cup. My name is Garen, and I'm here in the booth with Rexel. How are you doing tonight, Rex?
Good evening. How are you, Garen?
Oh, I've had a day, but I'm doing pretty good. So we've got an awesome race tie between xPankraz and BeautyInDiscovery on our Adamant Cup experience flag set within the All-Fort Cup. It'll be a very fun time with that. We've also got Scarcer here doing the restream, and we've got Stony pushing the buttons as we move through this sort of abbreviated objective list. We've got 4 objectives, all of which are required. 12 key items, get them hunt, conquer the Vanilla Room, trade away the Pigtail, and defeat the Baron Castle Basement Throne. And that's it. You'll get Crystal, and you can go out to face Z. Want to discuss some of the flag changes, Rex?
Yeah, I think the biggest one of note here that if you don't watch too many races is going to be the Sea Party 4 flag. So Sea Party 4 means you can't have more than 4 people in your party at any given time, which doesn't sound like that big of a deal from the onset. However, one of the big XP bonuses you get is a slingshot mechanic where you have a 5th character that if they're less than 5 levels below the median of your party, they get slingshotted. They get double XP till they get caught up. That's a method that a lot of racers use. That's not available in this flag set with the Sea Party 4 on there.
It is true.
And
However, one of the other advantages they get that is not in the other 2 flag sets is there is no hero in this particular flag set. So you can anchor whoever you'd like to anchor with. So you might see runners actually leaving, some of the characters down for extended periods of time, trying to keep them getting levels, because it means their agility is lowered. You can anchor easier with that. So it'll be interesting to see what the runners decide to do with this party. So we're starting with a Palom. And this is on, of course, Earth 4.
Treasure.
Something about the treasure setting?
Yeah, so we have a Teach Treasure free setting, which means that the free characters you would normally get, such as in Damsian and Ordeals, Mysidia, and the Watery Pass, are now going to be found in treasures, along with the T Wildish flag. Do you expect to see a lot of looting early on because of that?
I don't think you're necessarily a whole lot of extra looting, just because, again, there's a time cost to doing a lot of looting. I think the runners might try some treasure dense locations and see if they get lucky. We have seen some races that have been kind of swung here and there because you might happen to find, let's say, you found a cane or you found a foo or something like that in one of the, or maybe that's not foo, but out of the way boxes, and maybe that gives you a little bit of power earlier on when your opponent doesn't have it. Of course, those treasures can be pretty much all over the map, not just the overworld, but anywhere in the where they can be found. So you might just be along and seeing all of a sudden, hey, found this character in a chest. Oh, okay, that sounds interesting. Real quick, other rundown of the flags for this. Let's see.
Get a Kano free dwarf flag in there.
The no dupe flag on. So yeah, I'll talk to that in just a second. So yeah, the free key item you would normally get from talking to Edward in bed is actually in Sid's bed in Dwarf Castle. We're getting started though. We've got a CPU here at the Feigen spot, and we're getting a spoon. Well, spoon is interesting. There's a little bit of a there's a little bit of a thing about that spoon, isn't there? Because I don't see a spoon flag on in this particular flag set.
It is not. So basically, that starts as a key item. So that is something that the players who are running the ZZA flag set know all too well, because that that flag set starts with a spoon, and you don't get to use that one either. So the best use of that is pulling an edge out of one of the chests and be able to dart it at somebody. That's what that spoon's going to be used for.
All right. Well, hopefully we have an edge to actually dart it with. So, that's we should. Okay. Anyways, looks like both runners are starting off in Eblin Castle, and there are 3 monster boxes in Eblin, so the runners will reset when they run across them. But this is usually a good place for loot. We found a Levia. We found a crystal armor.
This is a situation, especially with the sea treasure flag on, we'll see them probably try to clear the entire castle, even though they'll have to reset out of all 3 monsters.
Yeah, that's very likely true. I mean, the loot is a little bit better here than average just because you have the danger of those monsters, and you know, with danger comes extra rewards. Even when we didn't have the 3 characters hiding out in chests, you'd probably see Eblin Castle cleared out a fair bit of the time in the early game here, just because you can get some pretty good loot. This is one of the standard plays. Going to the Watery Pass is one of the other ones. I think the preferred play of late has been going here to Eblin. And they might also come back a little bit later on to.
So it looks like, I think.
Sorry, take the monsters because.
Is...
All right, so we've got to check on Mount Hobbs, who's here for the character check.
Edward against DKC.
It's Nettie. Well, good news is DKC is not very strong, and also, unlike our other flag sets, this is a free boss, so we just have to wait 3 cycles of the Dark Wave, and he will just go away.
There's the second one. And with Edward hiding, we have to worry about him falling down. Beauty's still going through Eblin
Palom,
Castle
you need
between
like
time.
4 HP. Alright, DKC down, Bard acquired. And in this particular flag set, Edward makes a very good anchor because, well, if you leave him down here at his base level or pretty close to it, he's not very strong. Not very fast either.
That is a bright screen on Beauty's side there. That nice teal. As we see Pankraz leaving Hobbs, we see Beauty checking out what's in Antlion Cave.
Yeah, it looks like Pankraz will be right after. We got a Dwarf Axe. That's nice if we see a Cane show up. It's the only weapon that'll back row him. All right. Yeah, first check of what the boss is here in Antlion. Evil Wall. All right. Good news is it doesn't punch very hard here.
So, I was going to say, with the Grimoire in hand, that's probably going to be a big play to try to wipe out early. Rosa and Palom don't necessarily have a lot of power starting off, correct?
No, Palom needs at least some levels. I mean, Pankraz have a little bit of an easier time than Beauty would have if it had just been based on the spells, because Pankraz had the tier 2 or level 2 spells on Palom, so that would give him at least some power. But Beauty had a Grimoire, and it gets through, and we have a hook.
So we at least have some way of going underground. Let's hope that we see the magma key, as we all like to see. At least we have some way to do it.
I think chat actually prefers to see the hook in most cases than magma,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
know,
The hook definitely does. The chat definitely does. But as far as runner goes, unless we start seeing some more stronger characters.
not that I wanted to make it really, really hard on the runners, but a turtle over at the hook route is always a very fun experience.
Yeah, Evil Wall usually is too. We just saw Evil Wall at Antlion, so he won't be there. We know CPU is at Baron 1. But there's
Now we
always
know
time to see.
if we see a Valor, we see a Golbez, we know that this is not the logical way.
Correct. There is a mechanic in place that says that underground cannot be gated by a Val, a Golbez, a DKC, who we already saw, and I believe the third one's Wyvern, correct? Or the fourth one?
Well, DKC is not in that pool just yet because we have free bosses on, so it could be
Okay,
on the hook route if it was the logical way, but we've already seen it. Doesn't matter in this case.
gotcha.
Who were insinuating I like to make things tough. All right, you got me on that one. Yes, I would like to see a little bit of a challenge here. I mean, we've got two excellent racers going at it, so yes. Let's see what we got going.
So Bew's immediately going. It looks like Pankraz has fallen suit. They're immediately going into Edlin Cave. So this also is. I was going to say there's one monster box at Edlin Cave, which Beauty just found. Going to reset back out, but that also means that there is a plenty of opportunity for finding some of these characters because there's about 20 boxes here in Edlin Cave.
If the whole rest of the cave is free, you can loot to your heart's content on the way to see who the free character is. Runners were hoping it's not another Edward because that would just be annoying.
And then this counts as a gated shop because it's behind the hook, so you tend to see a little bit better items and equipment here at the shop. We see some coffins.
Yeah, we
So
are
we
loading
got
up on
the weapon
coffins,
and armor
which
side.
is we've
There's
got a heroin robe. That would be pretty good for a Rosa here. We can't quite afford it yet, but we'll get a bunch of stuff we can sell here in just a moment.
So now we'll probably see a lot of looting here because again, it's free because we saw the monster in a box. So we're trying to pick up another character if we can. So far, no dice. So back us wine.
I don't know if I really want dice as a character, anyways. Well, we have White Spear. That's nice. We have Kane.
White Spear solid.
A helmet. That's nice for the Palom. Roll character is it's Sid. Well, Elvinsar in the chat is very happy about this.
Always. Grant, not so much. I think Grant was pulling. Tall Grant was pulling for Kane. There's still time.
Yep, there's plenty of time for other characters to show up.
All right, so we talked about a hook route. We talked about nasty hook route. Who do we want to see here as a runner? Who we want to see here as a viewer?
Well, actually, we've already seen it, although I wasn't paying attention at the moment, distracted by something else. So I don't know who the boss was that we saw. The Mylons.
I must
Okay,
have been distracted as well. So it's one of the Mylons. Okay.
Well, now
I was
if
doing
it
the
is
same thing. I was
Mylon
writing
Z,
notes.
if it is Mylon Z, that is not necessarily that bad. You can find some white arrows and with that heroin robe on the Rosa, that could be a fairly safe and efficient way to get it through it.
As a viewer, we want Odin. That's fair. Odin would be particularly rude. Mom Bomb would be particularly rude.
I can be particularly rude in that spot too, because again, 3 different things.
Yep. So we see Beauty saying, "Okay, we're not going to finish that route right now. We're going to go to Baron to Fabul, and then it looks like Pankraz is also exiting out via walking, not via the spell."
Well, no one knows the spell yet, unless they found any exits along the way. That is one of the downsides of Rosa only learns exit if we do the Tower of Assad.
Alright, so Pankraz taking the monster in a box.
Pankraz is going to take some Mad Ogres. And
those coffins
just
coming
we
real handy.
for. And we're going to life glitch
Mom
these.
Bomb is at the Fabul. So, life glitch on top of the coffin, so we're going to get a lot of experience from these.
Actually about 12, 13,000, I think.
What's life glitch? Well, there is a delay. Once you kill an enemy, if you can cast life on them, they'll come back as a vitality of 0, which means they're immediately dead. But you get credit for the second character, so essentially you get twice as many characters and get twice as much experience if you life glitch every enemy on the screen. Xcal sword coming from those Mad Ogres. A fancy dart unless we get the guy.
That is true.
Down at the Fabul.
Hey, the Grimoire rolled pretty nice there for Pankraz.
I'd say so. A little Blarg action. Take him out real easily.
I always get Chocobo when I run these things, or Mist Dragon. Arty Arrows. Okay.
With Arty Arrows, we have an Xcal sword. So far, it's been a pretty lucrative second run through Eblin Castle. So all we got was the some crystal armor from the Fabul defense. So
Well,
looks like Beauty's going to head down to Baron Inn.
I'm trying to find other characters.
Yeah, because we saw a crystal helm as well, but
true. We did see crystal helm, yes.
another life glitch. So these black cats here, if you don't knock them out one shot, they're going to react with a ability called Bluster, which will either incapacitate your character or at least paralyze them where they can't move or they can't act. So was that a Masamune sword?
It was in that chest. I did not see it. It was too quick.
Yeah, it was pretty quick.
We have found
no, the
Paul
spoon,
Grant's
spoon
character.
Yes.
All right, so we have some Maga sisters here at the Baron 1 spot, guarding a cane. Rosa has gotten a little bit confused, but no matter. It's not going to hurt. And we have
The
Baron
guards.
guards. They just move their positions here a little bit. So, mute Bell. Pankraz wish she had more coffins on hand for dealing with these Baron guards, but
Yeah, they're going to hit pretty hard. This is a pretty punchy spot.
it'd be nice if Palom knew Toad, but Palom does not know Toad just yet, not high enough of a level.
Okay, and
Pancraz knows Quake.
John
So actually,
Burkhead.
Pancraz does know Toad, so never mind.
Yep. So John Burkhead in chat said it was an Avenger in that third chest. So an Avenger, an X-Cal, and Arty Arrows. Pretty lucrative Eblin Castle.
We got a tower key out of this, and with that Avenger, Kane is a bit online here. We could just put that on Kane and have him go to town. Since I think we already have a Dwarf Axe to back
Yeah,
row.
White Spear with an Avenger behind it. Yeah, Dwarf Axe to back row, White Spear, and then the Avenger glitch, which the Avenger will cast Berserk on the character, but keep the stats of the previously worn item if it's switched during combat. So Arcane is pretty set in terms of weapons go.
Yeah, Beauty and Push taking a wipe to the Baron guards here. We'll give it another try, it looks like. As far as Kane, sometimes I like to just leave the Avenger on, because I think the Avenger has some bonus agility to it, so it, unlike the Cecil where you want the Crystal Sword with the extra power, I mean, I think sometimes Avengers leaving it on is sometimes better with Kane, when you have the option. The KI from the Baron was the tower.
Yep.
We are still facing down a potential
Ordeals.
Hellbrand.
Yeah, we haven't seen a Magma Key yet, so that Mylon purple robe is in play.
I think we have Ordeals, and we have a Sneaky Demus is the last options for. No, but there's no Demus. That's right. It's down in the down in the Dwarf Castle. So yeah, this is it.
Technically could be Demus because Demus is right there at Ordeals 1.
Speaking of
but
cheeky
Ordeal,
Demus,
yeah, like. Yep. Now, Demus itself does not provide a key like it does in the typical Kano free, which would have been funny, but Demus is gating the Ordeal's the key item instead, so it somewhat fits.
Yeah, I mean, Ordeals is a bit of a gamble here because yes, you don't have any character in the party just that who can use it, but you have an X-Cal. If Cecil shows up later on, it's C Paladin, right? There's no reason to do this. Other than the
only thing, if you happen to find a Tella, it'd be useful, or if you happen to find Fusoya, you've already got 3 bosses at hand. Those are only the 2 reasons why I would see you do this.
There is the reason.
Unless you're trying to stop that Magma Key
here, but with unweighted, it's a little bit of a gamble because it's no more likely to be here than anywhere else. Of course, now that I say this, there's going to be something here that's required.
Yeah. They already have the hook, so it could be a pink tail. Could be a Baron key.
Absolutely, it'll be worth
Out comes Quake.
Look, there's no such thing as a commentator blessing. I don't think it exists.
Alright, so Beauty's gotten through Baron in, picked up Kane for his team.
Pancraz is going right into the mirror room, which, given that we don't have hero on, we get all the characters here anyways, so not very dangerous. Just plow right in. And we have...
And the life staff.
And we have a...
Oh, we found a Porominic pot. So not really worth the time. We're just going to exit back. We're just going to reset back out. But yeah, we have found a Porominic pot there in Baron on Beauty's side.
Well, I guess Palom is somehow responsible for this. We'll have to ask him after the race why exactly he stuffed his sister into a pot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Pancraz has to do for
So we'll trade
still. So here we
now.
go. Yep, tag teaming. Or with a potty mouth?
So there goes.
Shocking. Can't be right.
No. Unfortunately, both of these players are going to find out that those places they've now walked into aren't going to be any more lucrative than the one they just left. So, Football Defense did not ward item. of note, a key item, and neither did Ordeals. So, since we have seen what's going on, Garen, do you want to let our audience know what tournament's all about? Can I give a rundown on the All Fort Cup?
Putting me on the spot here. So yeah, the All Fort Cup is a team tournament. We've got teams of 3 with 3 different flag sets. Each member of the team is racing the same flag set throughout. We've sort of modeled it on our previous tournaments to take advantage of some fork flags and show them off while we're waiting for the version 5.0 to drop sometime coming soon, a TM. So this one is modeled after the Adamant Cup. That was prior tournament as a party of 4. It's notable because adamants are on. You can find an adamant, and frequently taking the chest in Evelyn, like xPankraz did, would turn it up for you somewhere. And it makes the game really cheesy, especially if you have a Cecil and a Crystal Sword or an Xcal. It's just like Cecil go burr. That's the way. We've got 2 other ones. We've got the Firebomb Fiesta that is modeled more after the Evelyn Elixir League. That is a win game flag set with 8 objectives, do 6, which is also on T-Money. It's like you don't get any loot and chests, you just get money, you go shopping, and you try to get it done as fast as you can. And the last one is the Zemus Zone, ZZA. That is based off of the earlier Zemus Zone tournaments, where the big feature is the 64 floor glitch, which was once used on stream. And yeah, those are the 3 main flags the only 3 flags we've got in the tournament. And yeah, a little bit of nostalgia mixed with some new stuff.
Right. Didn't mean to put you on the spot there, but we had a little bit of time to kill, so thought we'd go ahead and go over that. So, in the meantime, xPankraz has dipped down into Evelyn Cave again, took out the stale men for the monster box. Did not quite check to see what the reward was on that. I think it was a white shirt, maybe. But now it's about time to go underground now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is time to go vampire hunting. Not that this is Castlevania, but we've got a Mylan down here somewhere.
Simon Belmont did not play in the seed.
Well, that's good, because we'd really hate to have a cursed evening.
Yes, but we do have a whip in the inventory, I think. So we would be set.
Is Rydia related?
That would be one crossover I think everybody in this audience would play. Could you imagine running a seed with Simon Belmont?
Well, Simon Belmont and Edge will certainly be competing with each other for one-upping. But anyways,
this is true. All right. So we know that the purple robe is one of the bosses. The more painful of the 2 bosses, I should say, correct?
Well, it kind of depends. I mean, if this is King Queen Evelyn, it is definitely the more favorable of the 2. If it's other things, it could be the nastier of the 2. We don't know yet. All right, so it's time to find out who exactly is playing as the King and Queen of Evelyn today.
Already arrows going back on Rosa, just in case.
We've got Dr. Luge playing as the Evelyn royalty today. Hitting the R2. There are 2 mobs on the screen here.
Yep, otherwise known as Dr. Dialogue. Yep, as we see in chat as well.
I think the dialogue will be a little bit cut short, though, because since this spell only has 6,000 HP to begin with, and it's split across 4 different, different mobs, it's like, hey, they don't have a whole lot of HP.
So we see Beauty taking the chests in Evelyn Castle.
Yep, this is another chance at the Adamant Lottery. We know that since xPankraz has already done it, it's not going to pay out with an Adamant, but there's still some nice stuff here, especially if we get a Cecil in the sea. And of course, that Kane, the Avenger, that's the real prize here. Well,
The
Dr.
real
Lee,
fight
there's
is
no real
not really
fight
a
here, and
fight.
sorry.
Yeah, it's a good point out there, Stony. Pankraz with some nifty inventory management during the dialogue portions. Next level plays. That is Mylon Z.
It is Mylon Z. And Rosa is getting zerked right away because Mylon Z is a flying character because the developers wanted to make Mylon immune to Quake. The way to do that in this particular game is to get floating. So, yeah, the Fiend of Earth does not actually touch Earth officially, and it makes it also weak to arrows. Unfortunately, Arty arrows is not the weakest thing to Mylon here. The white arrows would be better because of the weakness, but still getting the bonus for flying.
It's a decent HP pool here as well.
Yeah, I believe about 24,000.
Mylon Z, yeah. Yeah, I had to do Mylon Z for our individuals in the audience that may not be from the United States of America. So we decided to go with Mylon Z. 25-2. At this level, this can be pretty cumbersome for underlevel parties.
That is definitely true. You always hope when you have a hook route that it's something nice, like it's King Queen Evelyn and you have free bosses down or something like that. It's like, yeah, I'll just start the fight and do some menuing and get a free pass, and on you go. It doesn't always work out that way. In fact, it usually doesn't.
So Beauty has cleared the 3 chests in Evelyn Castle. It will be taking
go
their
down the hook
turn
now because
underground.
there's no choice. We'll probably be through it about roughly 5-6 minutes after Pankraz gets through it.
All right. So we do get to get a quick
Pit is
peek at who's going to be
undefeated.
at the top of the... Yes. The top of Tower Babel will be housing...
It'll say a sparkle.
I think I saw Sparkle. Yeah. And I did see another purple robe there, so it looks like Dwarf 2 may be Mylon and friends.
The Tower Zot's one that gives us that.
Oh, that is the same one we just defeated, correct?
Yeah, that's the hook 2 boss because the game doesn't. We're not supposed to exactly have been here in that order, so.
This is correct. Beauty Snide the Avenger, I don't think he did. I thought he did a full clear.
With the inventory, I did not. It's hard to see what he has there. It's not exactly there. I mean, there may be reasons he doesn't want to have it on right now. I thought all 3 boxes were in the same room, so I'm not sure exactly if he did or didn't. Unless maybe he found the X-Kill and thought that was enough. No. Oh yeah, base level Kane too. Wasting a lot of time with very low level.
Alright, so we got our
Pankraz
first
is going
look
to
at the
spend this
Canaan
tower
room.
key. It's the turtle. Wrong part of the tower, turtle.
Free turtle.
Yeah, Pankraz takes
turtle.
one shot with an arty arrow and down it goes.
So we don't quite know what we get from there. We won't know until we leave the tower. We get the nice script there of seeing it blow up, and Kane's like, "That's cool. Let's get going."
Nope, no Penguinator special here. I think because with arty arrows in hand, 2 out of the 5 sparkles have a special weakness to that arty arrow, so it's at least worth having to take a shot and see if it's one of those 2. All right, we are getting another look here. Actually, 3 of the sparkles are weak to arty arrows. Pale Dim, the Lunars, and the Wyvern. So,
And technically, the plague is as well because it's flying.
right, but not specifically to the
Not
arty
specifically to
arrows
arty,
as
yeah.
arty arrows, the
Right.
dragon weakness. Oh, it's the Wyvern.
Sure.
Okay.
It's the Wyvern. It's the Blarg.
Rosa is going to we're going to start veiling because this is not Witchburn. This is simply we're going to just mega nuke you. Unfortunately, this is one of the weaker spots in the game for magic power, so it's not quad 9s all over the place. Rosa is going to drink some wine and hope that these arty arrows can get through it before the Wyvern gets through them. Don't worry, Kane will help. Rosa's going to do all the heavy lifting on this one.
Here comes the
Got a
wall.
wall.
Next are nukes.
Wake because the dragon is not.
There goes the dragons are not flying.
Well, that dragon is not flying. It's
Ah.
we can. You know what's even better? In the key item pool, we don't
What is
have
that?
the pink tail flag on in this case from the fork. So when Pankraz turns in that tail, there's going to be an adamant armor from that.
And it's going to be a objective. Doubly nice.
Yes, it is also the objective. That's true. So also hard required. It's always nice when you have an objective that literally is guaranteeing you the adamant armor that is promised in the flag name.
Now we get to take a look at what we may get rewarded with from the cannon room.
And here we go. It is Leviathan. That is basically money.
Boo. Yep. Which is important because we have the S price flag on at 200, meaning any consumables found in shops are at 200% the regular price. So money is welcomed quite a bit in the seed.
Money for Bacchus. Yep.
But it looks like Pankraz is going to leave Sid on the ground.
Yep, Sid is a good anchor for this type of flag set because, well, speaking of Bacchus ones, you just found it in Dwarf Castle.
Sure.
It is one of the slowest characters in the game. So leaving him down makes him even slower than if you got levels, and it makes all the rest of your party members much faster relative to him.
Speaking of Dwarf Castle and Sid, Pankraz did make the check there for the key item there, and it was not a key item. It was a silver apple. And we have Antlion at Dwarf 1.
That's good thing it wasn't a gold apple. I'd worry that Sid was trying to start a war or something like that. We have got an antlion. We got a punchy antlion.
I think the Quake and the Avenger will do some work here. As long as Rose can keep the gears rolling, should be okay here.
Yeah, Rosa being in the front row is not ideal because she can take a pretty nasty hit if she gets hit. Of course, Palom can too, apparently. So,
Yep,
listen to that.
I was going to say that's smart. We only have two going in the 2 fight.
Hey, we got another Sparkle in the Dwarf Castle.
All right.
Ogopogo would be really rude here at this point in time. We got a Foo also.
Yep. All right, so
think...
we may have...
Who are we saying goodbye to?
That's
goodbye
a
to
good
Palom?
question.
Saying goodbye to Palom.
Yep.
All right.
So
Which...
we have 3 characters this
Oh...
There's a nope rope.
That lit 3 should get through it. Okay.
Yep. This is only 3,000 hit points, so we should be fine here.
Yeah, because Kane was doing his thing. I would say Virus does not have to take it out
Kane
on his
doing
own.
Kane things. Kane doing Kane.
I mean,
things
I might have wanted to swap
So
out for Sid because, you know, who doesn't gain any agility? I can anchor with him usually pretty well, and you have 2 new casters potentially down the road. Just saying.
We don't have the warp glitch on here, so we won't see the runners going from Dwarf Castle to Sealed Cave for that, Jack. What is Luca wearing around her neck this time?
Glass helmet. It is nice for some defense. It is not progression, unfortunately. You wonder if it resizes itself depending on where it is.
Maybe. There's a tiara.
RKA around the moon, apparently, or something like that.
Let's see. So we're putting the black shirt on Fusoya now. Soma drop. Get him to 200 magic points, which means 4 casts of nuke.
Do people who have magical glass heads not throw stones?
Be dangerous.
I mean, I don't know. It causes no damage in Final Fantasy IV, so...
That's true. Alright, so now we're looking for a cursed ring, I'd imagine.
I mean, not really. I mean, with leaving Sid down, I don't think it's really that necessary to find one. And it's a lot of money. Because I think it's, what, double the... Oh, no, it's not double, but 66,000 gold. A little bit pricey.
Yes, sir.
Nope, we're going to check on the Fame Arch.
check. Mylon Z going down on Beauty side. So he will be through to the ground.
Yeah, I think overall roughly around 10 minutes behind Pankraz's time. I think Pankraz on just a little bit before 30 minutes.
So we're seeing some
Pankraz pulling a charm right out of there.
Here about Pankraz.
That could help out that Foo.
Samurai bow's good. Elven bow's good.
Free key item is a darkness crystal. Oh, okay, that is definitely progression because I can't imagine the moon is haunted on this flag set. And we got hourglasses for sale. Noted Fame Arch.
Strength ring inside the Feymarch armor shop. Now we're
All
going
right,
to
we're
see
gonna see
who's
who
hiding
the
in the
royalty
library.
are. We have King Blue Robe and Queen Leg somehow, one of the types.
So we're going to go ahead and take a save here.
Without healing, so we're just gonna see who these are, I think, at this point.
Yep. This is a maybe if we find somebody.
I mean, that's historically, I would think the Feymarch tends to be haunted, so I might dip out for the moon, but your mileage may vary on that. It's a water
And
hag.
that is Water Hag.
All right.
That's not bad.
So, Anchors will take that because we'll have to get 3 hits off, and that'll be that. Beauty collects the silver apple from Sid. Finds the Bacchus wines. Buys a couple because a little bit short on funds.
The liquor store is open.
Well, Rosa did not get the experience off of it, unfortunately, but
Nope.
I don't think we're really all that worried about it. We have another set of spells on Fu.
White and Fatal. I didn't see the third one.
And we have a Legend
And
Sword.
the Legend Sword.
The item, our 6th now, I think, for Pankraz.
Yeah, and it's worth noting, since we did see the Legend Sword, that the Smith alt flag is on. Meaning that instead of the Excalibur, that Kokel's going to forge a random 7 or 8 tier item once you do forge the Legend Sword with the Adamant Rock.
Which may or may not be anyone who actually is in the seed.
Correct. Time to turn in that pink tail yet?
Yep, it's time to collect an
I think
adamant
so.
armor. Sure. Which, with an Avenger Cane, gives you a fairly beefy way to take out the things on the lunar subterrain.
Yeah, throw that glass helmet on him too.
I can imagine a Moonveil being pretty nice knits, especially in FBF. It's like Moonveils are treated like gold, I think. Considering we have no free bosses on. Some of them are fairly punchy.
All right, so
I would
first objective complete.
I would sooner take a Moonveil than getting something like, let's say, a Nirvana staff or something like that.
Yes.
That's the logic part of the yes. I should run
So
seeds
we're
more
going to
right brain.
go
Maybe
to
that
the
would be the way to bring more of them.
So Beauty's starting in on the second fight in Dwarf Castle. Finds the note
Yep,
rope
gonna
with
zerk
all
up this
4
cane here.
characters. Yep, looked like he lets Sid go in favor of Fusoya.
That would probably I would choose to do with faced with that same choice. But you know, the best thing is you work with a party that you think you can work with best. So, no right or wrong answer to that one.
Absolutely. So is there anybody you want to see in particular at the dais on the moon? If you're Pankraz.
I think the answer would be Cecil because you've got Adamant, you've got Excal. I mean that is it's a cheap answer. Oh, we
That
also found sirens here for sale.
Yep.
So it's time to sell the farm and get some of that going.
Mm-hmm.
And we are buying 5. Okay. All right, we're buying a few more.
Yeah. I was like, that's interesting. Sold out for 5. So let's see who we end up.
All right, Sony, we're gonna be probably getting these flags messed up the entire tournament because I'm just that
Yeah, I've been
scatterbrained.
lucky that I've been lucky. The last one I did the commentary on was also ace, so I got lucky with that respect. So we see Beauty setting up to go up to the tower, healing up here.
And we see who is the guardian of the lunar core today.
Edward again.
Nope, Kane.
Kane.
I just might say the Lunarians need a more reliable vetting process for who they're going to hire to watch over them. This is a bad
I would say
choice.
so. I would say. There may be one person in chat who'll disagree with you, but I think from a lore perspective, I agree. So we're going top down, I'd imagine?
Down the drain. Okay.
Yes, that is true, Scarter.
All right, Adam is going
All
on
right.
Kane. That makes total sense.
We're going white armor. I was gonna say white spear first, then into Avenger, just in case we run into something nasty like a CPU here.
I think the Lunars might be a bigger worry here, just because they will start countering with the viruses.
And I
There's
think
some other
CPU
ones
is
as
a
well.
better one anyway.
And we got dragons going on. We got hourglasses. And then we have Kane, who is just going to casually strike.
Do some weak action. We get some life glitches in here.
We're going to double glitch it, I think. Oh, we're going to try to. It didn't work.
A little early on that.
I do remember in ZZ6 trying to time these and not necessarily always getting it off right. 112,000 experience.
That's a cool.
Nothing to sneeze at.
Not at all. Because keep in
Beauty
mind,
says-
PaintCraz is getting 25% more experience right now than Beauty is because of the one completed objective.
Fortunately for Beauty, Beauty is down the Tower's Wyvern, and that is bad news because that has the required pigtail. So I have to
Yep.
imagine if you're dipping out of this, you're going to come back to it almost at the last, or at least a lot less.
So PaintCraz is heading down to the ribbon room, no doubt, with the unweighted flag set on the seed. That's an easy 2 for check.
Yeah, but even if Ribbon doesn't have anything, it's like this moon has 7 potential checks between the 5 altars and the K value. So it's like the odds are one of them is going to pay you, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the ribbon room
course,
also is
still
objective,
guarantees-
so
Your mileage may vary.
CPU is at Baron 1, so we know where CPU is. He's at the Beigen spot, or CPU's an it.
I don't know if I would say this is a curse. It's all you have to do is just wait these out and get some star veils up and reflect the breath onto them and turn them into toads.
We see Beauty taking the monster in a box in the Famart cave.
and we see that there is not enough magic on that food to really get it done. Yeah, unfortunately, these D-Lunars have very bad breath. It's been millennia.
It's always satisfying when you get the toad straight off on the D-Lunars.
Well, we got both toes off, so that's very, very, very. Because now this fight is completely free. All we have to do is just put an Avenger on Kane, and xPankraz can then sit through and fix his inventory for the rest of the fight.
Well, it looks like we're doing arty arrows on Rosa with the Bacchus wine. And the infantry. So
Yeah, that'll also be pretty good.
Run right through this. Yep.
No Deejers, no Zeniths on the moon. Wilbur Wonka did not end up staying there. All right, D-Lunar is down.
So let's see what the ribbon room holds. Well, first off, it's going to hold the second objective. So now we'll talk about 50% increase in experience.
It is a Luca key, which in this case is a check because we do not have the warp glitch on. So that is a long check, but it's also a check you can at least see what it is before you have to fight the boss. Second best sword. Yeah, I think there might be some debate on that. Beauty has got the Darkness Crystal. We'll see if that drives Beauty over to the moon.
Alright, so the White Spear Altar is Plague.
Yep, well, it's a little bit convenient that Sid is down here because we can actually life him up to reset that count, if we want to do so. And then we can always, if we have Kamikaze, we can just have him Kamikaze himself back down again.
This is the second now moon spot that has not been randomized.
One of the funny things about randomization is, like, occasionally it's like if nothing ever comes up vanilla, then that seems a little bit non-random.
Right. Yeah, I think
Yeah, I mean, if Baron key happens to be... If Vanguard goes across the Baron key, I think this is a very big trouble for Beauty. And, well, there it is.
Oops. Oops.
Okay. This is now just a key item hunt for Pankraz. Just needs 4 more key items.
Yep.
Moon is not haunted. In fact, Moon is basically the goods.
This is a situation where you are clearing the rest of the moon to get your key items. And
well, this is free.
Baron key is holding 2. Yeah, this is free. Baron key can hold 2.
Can we get a refund on this moon, please?
Key can hold 1. This has been compared to the last race I did commentary for. This is a very, very, let's say, an interesting moon. We had the
so you're saying it's basically a
evil mask.
So you're saying it's not a spicy moon?
No, it's not a spicy moon at all. We had like 0 key items there. We had an evil mask at the Masa altar. We had I think we had Demus at one of them. What else did we have? It was not a. We had Ogopogo at one of them. It wasn't a fun moon whatsoever.
Well, Pankraz is a pan. That is another 2 checks in the queue, and is up to 9 key items at this point. Already has Baron Castle Basement as a check, and Baron Throne if he wants it.
That's 2. That's 4. Luca makes 5.
So is he? I think at this point, you might just want to scum back to the earth. At this point, you've got enough, I think.
Yeah, the only thing I think is maybe poke your head in cave value, maybe, and see what's there. I mean, you've still got the officer soldiers fight.
I think Pankraz will take the
Still
risk
got-
because I mean, has Luca, has the 2 Baron checks, has the 2 Pan checks. I mean, that's at least 5, and he only needs 3 of them to come up. If he has a set of Shield of 1, actually, that's actually 3 checks.
Yep. Speaking of Shield 1, I think we're about to see what it is. Because Beauty just went and saw Yang in the infirmary.
I don't mind doing Shield of 1, especially when I haven't seen the Pan yet. In this case, we know that the Pan has shown up pretty much along the normal path you'd take in the Moon, but there have been times that Shield of 1 will swing a race, so...
I mean, unfortunately, we know that this is also a check that Pankraz is going to make. So, Beauty, I don't know if there's any long shot method to get caught up here, unfortunately.
It's just Nelvin Bow, so blank on the Shield of 1 check.
So out of the 5 checks now for Pankraz, 1's not going to work. So we're 3 out of 4 now.
Well, and that also assumes that none of these other things will give him a thing he can check as well. I mean, if the Earth Crystal or the Harp, the Rat Tail show up, those are another additional check he could make.
Absolutely.
And we have our retainer to the King of Baron, who has been replaced by a computer. Not a very good AI, though, so this is going to go down like a ton of bricks.
Fu's getting here online, so Beauty's just knocking out bosses to get Fu up to full speed. He's at nuke now, so the Moon's going to be a little bit easier than it may have been. The cheeky play there
Okay,
by
we got
Beauty.
swag rocks on the on the CPU. That's a little bit overkill, Pankraz. I don't think that was called for.
It's frying the circuitry. Heroin robe now on Rosa.
I mean, there's frying the circuitry. There was nothing left of that thing.
Yeah, it's true. It's melting the circuitry. So when Cheku's
All right,
on
basement
the
check.
basement throne,
I think Golba's the only thing you want to see here at this point. Nope, this is the Kaipo guards. This is the free of free. We can literally just use a coffin and we'll be all set to go. Yep, the officer is down. Their life glitch off. And the soldiers, apparently without their officer, have no idea what to do. Oh. We apparently want Sid to get some experience on this one now. Or not? I'm confused. Anyway, let me just misclick.
raise them back up to, yeah, I was gonna say.
I think he was trying to live to the officer, but it didn't work.
There's a blizzard spear behind the soldiers.
Well, that means at this point, that's 2 zonks, so the other 3 have to either pay out or lead to progression, or I think we have to go back to the moon.
The only thing left on
But
the
it is
moon,
now-
he didn't do the Murrow check, right?
No, I don't think Pankraz did the Murrah check.
Okay, so
Even
we have
the value
Murrah,
either.
Crystal Sword. Yeah, Crystal Sword, Murrah, and value, so we got 3 checks up there.
He's going to take the Baron Throne next. Another Sparkle.
Another Sparkle.
Let's see. Who have we not seen? This is probably Pale Dim.
Pale Dim. Yep.
Well, that didn't take very long. Down
Not
it
at all.
goes. Team Doot is sad. No Doots today. Well, we got Tella. I think Tella's going straight to the bench.
Pretty sure.
Bahamut is not one of the Sparkles. That would be who we're missing in there.
I don't think we are.
Ogopogo was their Sparkle.
Ogopogo was at Dwarf too. We've seen them all.
I was just responding to Nits in the chat there. It's like,
oh, sorry. Sorry. I was going through my list when you were reading off. I didn't see what was in the chat there. I apologize. Adamant Rock.
Okay, we got a Forge. So that still leaves Pankraz a chance of not having to go back to the moon. But we're going to do this Pan turn-in first. We know that Shield of 1 is not anything, but the Bonk of Yang could still be something, and so could the Shield of 2 turn-in.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Moonveil, what are we doing here? A little bit of a skip in the streamer, it looked like. Anyways, Pankraz is making his way down.
I'm glad it wasn't just me. I thought my whole entire system just froze up.
I had that happen yesterday, actually. I clicked on the well to drop Magma Key, and the whole system just locked up.
Alright, so we got the Bonk.
Yep.
And the Sylph says, you can have this. A Twin Harp.
Well, the Harp Faders are now very sad because unless this Sheila 2 pays off, it looks like we're going to have to go down and check that Twin Harp, I think.
We could use some of Eddie's music. That wouldn't be too bad.
Speaking of the Harp Faders in chat.
Mm-hmm. The efficiency at which Pankraz goes through the map.
Oh, couldn't think of it. Actually, Pankraz doesn't have to go back to the moon anyways because he doesn't have the pass.
Yeah, the pass, yeah.
Getting some choppiness there on the stream, but let's see if we can see what this is.
Elven Bow.
Oh, it's a Sand Ruby. That as well.
Yep.
So, Harp Faders rejoin.
Some hair dryers over on Beauty's side.
Yeah, Pankraz is definitely in the driver's seat for this seed. Does have to go back up to the moon because did not find a pass on the way down, but I don't think Pankraz will be complaining about that too much.
No, but it looks like there was a Dragoon Spear behind those hair dryers.
Which would be something if we hadn't already killed all the dragons in the seed. Pankraz is going to make a swap here.
The pink tail is on top, actually. And that top of tower is exactly what Beauty faded on the way through the old Peguinator route.
Yeah, the Wyvern was the answer to this particular seed. You can't get through it without beating it. So it is kind of unfortunate. Pancras took it the first time he saw it, and Beauty backed out of it. Value is free, as it turns out.
Value is free, yep. See? I wasn't completely off base with saying check value. Could have been alright. Pancras will take some sirens
Looks
before
like
going to
Pancras
Z
is going
fight.
to... Yep, he's got 10, so that's totally fine. And
Does the
as
10
I
actually
would
kick in
have
here?
expected
Even
from
with the...
Oh yes, 136,000 for for sirens. Yeah, this is gonna be a very fast grind.
Yeah, because we get the 10
The
KI
normal-
bonus plus we get the 25% for each of those, right? So we get 200% right now.
Yeah, this is quad experience. So instead of
'Cause they have-
34,000, we are
experience,
getting
yeah.
136. So yeah, we're getting tons and tons. And
Yeah.
Pancras took the Palom
That's,
back, so it's like this makes sense. Palom gets you nuke, so we're gonna be dual nuking and probably a single whiting Z, I would imagine, to get the reflect strats off.
Those are some
Hey, red tail
some
for
lucrative eggs.
Beauty.
The price
Look,
is
Alvin,
this economy.
Sid is doing the most important thing in this seed. He is anchoring. Chat being a little more
Against you,
rude to
but you're
Elvin
not
than I would
gonna
be in this case. Alright, I think Pancras is going to be mostly done with the grinding. I'm probably going to take one more 80 to nuke, and that'll be that. You know, as a player of FBF, all this thing about black mages getting nuke is kind of unusual for me to see because I don't get Fu in my seed, and Palom's getting a nuke. It's like it probably means the giant was required somewhere because usually there ain't time for that.
Right. Is definitely a almost need to have in the ZZA flag set.
Yes, Alvin. Sid is always doing the most important jobs, mainly involving blowing things up.
Or he's tanking the floor. Alright, so Pancraz is going to make the 2.5 minute walk to Z. Don't ask me why I know how long the walk is. I may have timed it the other day.
Yeah, definitely it has been timed by the community. You're right. That's I don't time as much as I go by how long it takes me with the music to get from place to place. I can figure if I've actually missed some steps based on where the music is when I'm at certain places.
That is a veteran runner move right there, sir.
That's the right.
Do we have
Yeah, okay. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of a stream glitch there. It happens. It's Twitch, especially these last couple days. So, as you were mentioning, Rex, we're on the way to Z down here from Pancraz's side.
Yes. We are on the way. I see some
We've got
Z
a couple
flags
flags.
down
Well,
there.
we've got one flag in
Why
chat.
is-
Well,
we got F and N, we got AZ, and we got 2 Zs.
apparently a Scrabble board has been
What?
spilled on the chat, so we're just picking up letters randomly here. No, this
There we
being a
go.
randomizer, we kind of like to randomize things. One of the things we can't really randomize is Z because, well, let's put it this way: if we put Z in the antlion nest, it's just not gonna be a fun time with that part of the game. So we have a little truce with Z. We decide we're gonna leave him here, but Z has to randomize what he looks like every single game. So there are in this fork flags, fork of Enterprise. There are some different Z sprites in addition to some of the ones that we already had in there. So, there's a question we like to ask all the time, and what is that?
It's whose butt are we kicking tonight? I wonder if it's going to wear a hat.
And there are a whole bunch of side questions that get asked there. It's a bit of house rules there. Whatever questions you'd like to ask. Will it be a fork?
Will it be a... Oh, that's a good question.
Um, I think J-Run, in this case, it'd be more appropriate if it's a spoon, because we've had that spoon sitting in the inventory the entire game, and we've not been able to do a single thing with it.
What's your personal favorite sprite that you've seen there, Garen? What's your personal favorite?
I mean, just because it'll bring back memories for people, Chartimus is always a fairly fun one.
All right. I'm a fan of Kef myself.
Ah. Well,
That's a Gato.
We have a very judging cat here on the screen.
If you're allergic to cats, I'm sorry. This is going to be a very very scary Z fight for you.
Well, I think
only thing that works in our
Pankraz is
favor
going
is
to take care of that for us.
Orange. Orange cats typically only have one brain cell, so this may not be that difficult to fight.
As opposed to the two from the regular cats?
Yes. I have a pair of orange cats, so they share the one brain cell. They pass it back and forth. This is going to be a master class on taking Z down. The reflect strats with the nuke casts.
Yeah, at this point, I think the only real question is Pankraz going to get down before it gets to the 75-minute mark? I'd say there's a fairly good chance of it at this point.
A timeshare with the brain cell, I think it comes down to, I want to say they probably play poker in the morning time. I think that's about as poor as I can get to with this. It's you tend to find out very quickly. One is 5 years old, the other one's not quite a year old, so it's really fun to see which one's got it.
And that's why they have cat videos on the internet.
Yep.
And that is literally half the internet.
So this nuke, along with the Dragoon Spear on Beauty, is definitely making these fights a little.
Pankraz is doing the jig there, so I think he's got it. Yeah, there's a crack and a bang. 1 hour, 14 minutes, 45 seconds. GG.
Yep. Shy of 75.
So, got it in 75 minutes. Which on the Ace Flags is actually pretty good, I think. I think normally we were aiming for about 75 to 90 minutes on these, so I know definitely with FBF I usually shoot for 75 and hope I get it, and very efficiently done.
I think this is look at the times. It's the third fastest run of the tournament. Sorry, fourth fastest of the entire tournament. I gotta look and see what these flag sets are, but yeah, that's a good time.
I don't think Pankraz is a robot. Come on, Nets. This isn't Ballnab here.
So Beauty is... No, it's not. So Beauty's going to check that Baron key now. And he will be pleased to at least get the Adamant Rock for another key item.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I have not had the pleasure of meeting Pankraz in person, so unfortunately all I have to go off of is the Squirtle on the screen.
That's across all flag sets. Across all flag sets, Grant. I gotta figure out what these ones are for. Great, you have the fastest one right now. But let's see. But you ran FBF, then knock that one out, and then Swift. Yeah, those were all FBF. This is the fastest one for Ace. The 3 other fastest ones are from FBF, so this is the fastest Ace run so far.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know that the fastest FBF run that we have seen with timing, at least not on official stream, but it's under 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I rolled a real gem that time around, and yeah, people enjoyed that one.
I'm sure.
I think it's always a great confidence boost if you can get a sub-hour in any of these things.
I only had one sub-hour run ever,
see.
so yeah.
Oh,
There
I think
it
we
is.
have xPankraz in the booth.
Hello?
We do. Hello, sir. GG's.
What did you think? I mean, that was...
Here, give me 1 moment. I think my Discord is cutting out. I am not hearing everybody real quick. I will be 2 seconds, and then I can respond to your question when I can
Okay.
hear.
All right.
Okay, I think we've had a bit of an issue all night long with that as well. I don't know what's quite going on there. I know that just a little bit off with the timing. I'm not sure why.
Yep, we've got a sentence of a bookworm for the music there for Pinkers. What a guy. Checking the music for us. Alright, so Beauty's going to go down to the throne, which we know unfortunately does not pay out. Gets the officers and the soldiers, and out comes Hourglass. There's Pankraz again. Can you hear us now?
All right, take 2. I think so.
All right, perfect. So what do you think of the seed?
Oh, it was a fun one. I mean, always love an early power kind of spike in this one. You know, initial loot wasn't great, but being able to pick up that heroin robe and Eblin and kind of really kickstarting things to go really fast after that. It's a fun time to kind of push those boundaries and to see what you can get away with it. And then, of course, trying to fade things on top of that, you know, dipping out from the moon early. I like having the options for those plays. I like it even more when they pay off like it did in this one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we were
That
counting. If
wyvern at the top of the tower.
Oh, that went great. That was those Artemis arrows came in clutch. Everything was fine, and we just buffer a little bit. 2-star veils, it's easy. I knew there was a reason I was holding onto that Bacchus one.
I mean, that the moon dip
So
back to the Earth. It's like you managed to pay off just well because you found enough key items on the moon. The planet where you have to go back to the moon for anything else to find it. Your 12th.
Oh yeah, picking up
Kind of
those
secretly
3
hoping
from
we
the
get music.
We were all hoping. I mean, I tried to put it on here. I'm talking over it a little bit, but with those 3 specific items showing up from the moon, like Baron Key is your objective, Pan is 2 more checks plus the one that you skipped, and then Luca's your backup option. So, like, the only better option would be if Luca was Rat Tail instead. If that's the case, like, that's the perfect thing. As it was a really good, like, 3 key items to bail the moon with. So, didn't have to worry about the top half. We're just going to chase what we have. You know, all I need is 3 more key items. So, between these 5 checks plus Sheila 1 that I skipped initially, we're just going to cross our fingers and see what happens. And it worked out.
There's a little more drama here in the booth
So
because we knew that Sheila 1 was a zonk at that point because we'd seen it. But
So when you saw the Fusoya, we saw you were kind of going back and forth trying to figure out who you were going to drop in favor of Fusoya. What was going through your head there? What questions were you asking as you were making that decision?
Mostly it's what is my endgame party going to look like, and which of these two people is going to possibly have more use in the short and long term. I ended up opting to replace Palom because I saw that Fusoya was at 1400 HP already. So he would have the same spells as Palom at that point. I just transfer the gear, he's going to be strong enough, and he's really close to nuke at that point. So that's going to give me more short-term power than the Palom will. Less long-term power, but that's alright. Opted to keep Rosa because I hadn't had Darkness at that point. I was thinking maybe Earth Crystal still... I also hadn't bought exits yet. So maybe Earth Crystal shows up. Maybe I use Rosa as an exit source because Fusoya ain't it. I didn't do Ordeals, so I can't do that as my exit source for a Tele-Anchor or something like that if he shows up. So I figured that Rosa would have a little bit better utility options in the short term, and absolute worst case, I could just kind of have a healer white mage with a bunch of HP to kind of keep my Kane with an adamant armor and an Avenger alive. It was kind of a hedging bet situation, but also the best for the short term. You know, you ended up seeing I went back for the Palom. I thought I should have done that maybe a little bit earlier, even like as soon as I got Darkness going in, or not as soon as I got Darkness, but as soon as I'd go to the Ribbon Room, basically go pick up Palom, grind him up, but opted to keep the Fusoya instead. And it didn't really matter; he didn't do a whole lot on the moon. You know, kind of some easier on, but. Like, you know, term versus long term kind of weighing real quick. And, you know, that's the back and forth and the back and forth. It's really condensed in those, 6 seconds or whatever it was.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
But...
I always like picking the brains of the runners, because especially when you have a smaller party with the party 4 flag on, and then you don't have a hero flag, so you get to set your anchor. I can imagine there's so many questions going on that are being processed at millisecond speed. So being able to slow down and pick your brain, it's always interesting to hear the thought process. I know for me it is. I know a lot of the other people in the audience appreciate that as well. So yeah, I appreciate you walking through that for us.
No, not a problem. And like you said, like with only 4 party members, you really got to maximize those 4 party members. So I've got Avenger user, and like Fusoya with the Sage spell suite just does that so well. So he's an in. It's just a matter of who. Sorry,
I was going to point out real quick, we just saw where the pass was on... That's okay, it's about a little bit of timing issues all right. We just saw where the pass was... Beauty screen from the rel at Cave Value turn-in, and that was in King Queen Eblin. So that would have been a... the Forge of the Crystal Sword.
Alright, that's kind of like a Ragnarok. It's kind of like an Excal too, you know. Best of both worlds.
Oh, there was a Cecil in the seed. Oh well.
Cecil or an Edge. Or an Edge would have been nice with the spoon in Excal.
Hey, I joked in the race room as soon as we got the spoon flag, like, first message, it's 20 seconds in the seed, we're doing our loading cutscene. I'm like, wait a minute. This isn't ZZA. What's going on here? And it sure was not a ZZA seed,
It was not, but that's
it was a fun
I
one.
knew exactly what you were going to have to do with it. Sit on it.
Oh, I should have sold it. Alas.
Oh, yeah,
You had to buy a carrot somehow, right?
Yeah.
Never found them. They were hiding from me, and I didn't appreciate it. Now, admittedly, I checked like 5 item shops, but ignore that.
Yeah. But speaking of selling, though, just out of curiosity as well, you get the pricey flag on. When you're buying stuff like sirens, you're buying stuff like hourglasses, which are usually staples in runs. What kind of concessions do you have to make, and what kind of decisions do you have to make when those aren't as easily available because they cost so much?
Some of it's thinking, what is the amount that I actually need for what I want to do? You saw me buy those 3 coffins at the start of this seed. I was reasoning that gets me through either an early Dark Imps or a couple guards or something to that effect if one shows up. And then I go and check next door and there's a heroine robe for sale. So suddenly I can go to Evelyn as an option. It's mostly, at least for me, kind of, it's a limitation of how many you can buy, but only buying exactly as many as you need. I accidentally bought 10 extra sirens in this one. Whoops. But it worked out okay. But figuring out,
it's funny you
do I
accidentally
need
bought those
20 sirens?
we saw you go back and buy. We saw you buy 5. We're like, okay. He sold all the stuff to buy 5, and then went back and bought 10 more. We're like, okay.
I wanted to buy the 10
so...
heal potions. That was the goal. I figured maybe there's a Val on the moon. I could use like, some petrification healing. Let's buy those 10 heal pots just in case. And well, I mismenued a little bit.
Well, I think that's all I've got. Garen, do you have anything else for Pankraz before we'll let him go for the night?
No, I think I'm pretty well set on any sorts of questions there. Again, GG, great race. Thanks for volunteering to be restreamed. I'm sure it was a good show for the audience.
Oh, I hope so. I always like, putting on a bit of a show, coming and playing. It's always fun to play and, race and see how things are going. I had to bring some of the A game, play a little bit of shutout gameplay, and that's all right. Zone defense, whatever you want to call, your sports analog. But always love putting on a show, and I'm glad that you all could help put on the show. And, GG's to Beauty. It was a fun one. Thank you, as always, for, working around my hectic schedule. I'm glad that we can make this time slot work out. I'm glad that, for those of us not in every thread and the like, Beauty and I coordinated. We had the same cocktail as we started the race. We both started with a sidecar to see how things go. And
nice.
That was a fun time. I appreciate it. I appreciate, a little bit of that behind the scenes fun. We always need some more fun in these trying times. So hopefully you all had some fun.
Is
hopefully
definitely
you continue to have
games.
some fun. Exactly. That's why we buy carrots. Among races. Thank you all for putting the show. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Rex. Thank you, Stony. Thank you, Garen. And you all have a great rest of the night as well. Appreciate you all.
You as well.
Thanks, Peg.
Good night, sir. All right, so Beauty just got through Sealed Cave. Asura was sitting at the top there, Sealed Cave. It looks like there was no key item up there, based off of the inventory we have sitting there. So, I believe Beauty's just checking everything he could possibly check, looking for that pink tail at this point in time.
Yeah,
we both
unfortunately,
know at the top of the tower.
Yeah, it is a bit logical though. It's like when you make a fade, the usual strategy is you stick to your fades, and if it burns you, then it just happens to burn you. But it's like normally it's like you figure if that is exactly what the answer was, you've already lost if you faded anyways. So your best odds lay in doing other stuff. So I really think
and Sealed Cave.
What's that?
There's a Magma Key in Sealed Cave. I'm sorry.
Okay, Magma Key. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. I think there'd be something else if you reset out of it, but I wasn't able to see because I'm having issues with Twitch getting me actually seeing what's on the screen.
Looks like Beauty's making his way back down Feymarch, so I'm guessing he's going to check the Queen spot.
Yep, it makes sense. Let's see. We know the Pan was on the moon. Ink is over at the place he's not going to check.
It could be Earth Crystal or it could be Package. Earth Crystal would be a little troublesome because he's obviously going to chase that.
All right. Well, we'll find out shortly. We might actually get a real check of music depending on how things go.
Mm-hmm. And Beauty's at 10 key items, so that's going to help the experience. So won't have to worry about leveling up as much once he does get his objectives complete. Yep, we are checking. And
this is quarter leg, so elements. So we're gonna see a wall pop out here. I think we are. Nope, berserk. Okay.
berserk
One strategy you can use with
because
elements. Yeah, you just gotta take it with power. As I say, normally you could also wall here on the elements and then reflect your fire 3s onto it, and that would prevent it from changing form because and changing forms is the counter.
yeah, the other piece of this is because we noticed that Beauty is berserking Kane is something to note. Beauty never got the Avenger out of Edla Castle, so that's why he's having to resort to berserking Kane. I think Kane still has that Dragoon Spear on.
Yeah, it is sometimes a bit unfortunate. It's like there's the one really powerful item somewhere in the early game, and if you find it and your opponent doesn't, you've got a great advantage. Veritas, the pink tail is sitting at the top of Babel Tower with the wyvern.
There's the package.
All right, a package. Now, I don't think. Let me see here. Package. Yeah, package is not a check in this thing. So that's actually a zonk as far as that's concerned, other than being a key item on the pile.
Yep, I get an 11. The only thing we don't know where's
So
located,
at
we
this
haven't seen the
point,
Earth Crystal yet.
I think logically we know it has to be behind the twin harp. I think it's
Crystal Sword Altar or Myrrh. I don't know if Beauty took those or not. Those are the only two I still have left on my list.
I don't know if he did or not, because I think the interview I was looking a little bit scared looking at that screen for a bit.
Luckily, Beauty is going to go to the top of the tower, so we won't have to worry about that, because that will be both the pink tail and the 12th key item. So,
Yes, so this will be fairly quick for Beauty. He'll get the pink tail, turn it in, and be rushing off to Z with that pass.
he may need to level up just a little bit, though. He is sitting pretty low there.
The good news is there's sirens,
Just without,
and at 136,000 experience per egg, any leveling that needs to be done will be done very quickly. That's quite going down to Wyvern Standard Time. We're going pretty slow because, again, this Wyvern, unlike so many of our other ones with their little witch burns, this one just does the classic, it mega nukes you.
Yep.
And even though this is the top tower and it is one of the weakest magic spots in the game, Mega Nuke is it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, Mega Nuke's still Mega Nuke. Still going to do Mega Nuke things.
So Kane might actually be able to survive it depending on how hard these roll.
That's a hard enough roll. But now the question, I was going to say the question is going to be
Not by much though.
not by much. The question now is how do we get the rest of the hit points?
Well, that's what
It's not
Bacchus
like
Wine is
Kane's-
for.
Yeah. And
He
Kate
holds
Dragoon
it
Spear
with
on, so a cool 7,500 damage.
yeah, the hope here is that Kane will be beefing up over eating by nuke. He'll actually be able to eat one of them. But again, weak magic spot. So you're hoping that it, or you're just hoping that the Dragoon Spear makes mincemeat before it ever bothers to take a nuke.
All right, there we go. 12 key
And
items.
Beauty sees the bad news that it's like, yep, this was it all along. I think
The
Beauty
first
is
question I'll
actually
probably have for
taking a
Beauty when he
forfeit at this
gets
point.
okay.
And we're joined in the booth by Beauty.
Thank
GG.
you very much. And GG's to Pankraz. I knew he was going to clobber me, but I think Wyvern got the last laugh harder than even Pankraz ever would on this seed.
It is unfortunate because that was the difference. I mean, Pankraz took it fairly early on, got through it in one shot, and you fade it for a time. It's like it makes sense, and unfortunately, it just happened to be the one thing you couldn't fade this seed.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a very long history with Wyvern at top of tower. For any folks that have been around for a while, there's a really great club run by S-Grunt called Edge versus the Blue Planet, and one of the most striking seeds in that club was a hard required Wyvern at top of tower. That was, I think, my finale. If I beat it, I won. And I banged my head about 5 times before I banged my controller and then forfeited on that one. So, and that's just one instance. It's my least favorite spot for the boss.
Yeah.
I totally understand
the
that.
entire I say the entire audience was because we had seen that the Wyvern had the pink tail behind it before you went up there, so the entire audience was begging for you to go back. We were begging for you to go back, but we all have that one boss, that one location that we gives us the PTSD where we don't want to go back there and see it again. So totally understood that.
But I think maybe if I'd already had a Goon Spear or something like that, that could have helped out a lot. But the tricky about this Wyvern is it has such low magic power that even if you get up a couple Star Veils and your Anchor Right and everything, you'll bounce. It'll do maybe 9,999 if you almost Star Veil your whole party, and then you still have another like 14,000 to chew through. And a lot of times when you're up here, you're not putting out more than like 3,000-4,000 rounds. The next thing you know, you're starting to get into that life roulette, which is what's happened to me in other times when, like, maybe I had the speed to get them up and I got the bounce off, but it was just weak enough to really not do enough damage matter. Definitely enough that the nukes are one shots, and it's a really tricky spot, and I think most folks would agree.
Yeah, I think in that case, the big
100%.
difference is I think Pankraz had the art arrows at that point in time, and that was able to get through it.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it for sure.
Yeah,
but otherwise I was doing a lot of... I was going to say, at that point, I was already doing quite a bit of gambling anyways, right? You go against someone of Pankraz's caliber, you kind of got to lean into a few interesting takes. And like for me, that was a lot of like going up Ordeals. I would never go up Ordeals. There's no reason for it, even with the Tela, in my opinion. I shouldn't say no reason, but very little. And against someone like Pankraz, I know he's not going to do that. So that's absolutely why I'm going to do that. Same thing with fading the freebie and the Fey March. There was a little bit of like, that's the logical thing to do. So let me try a few other things, even like a Sheila 1 before doing that. And none of them paid off. Just you got to gamble to try and get ahead. And the gambles were the house won.
Yeah, oddly enough, Pankraz actually did go up Ordeals, at least to check what the boss was and the key item.
Interesting. I would not think so. But once again, Pankraz is Pankraz, so maybe that is the play, right? If he's doing it.
Well, I mean, as you say, sometimes you have to make a play that's contrary to what your normal play style is, because maybe your opponent is thinking to do it, and then it's like you'll try to play the opposite wise. It's like you get into the whole thing with switching to the poison cups, and it's like then you end up drinking poisons in both cups anyways.
Absolutely. Though it was very fun that all 3 of the Miabs were in the right tower, in the upper portion of the tower too. I was very overjoyed at that. It's really great to see that level of concentration, and then just be able to like, I got the don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, although unfortunately, I think you skipped the Avenger chest that was in that room, because that would have helped out a bit.
No, no. I mean, well, as you can see, I was already struggling with the ogres. Took one wipe there. I mean, it's already close. It's already a close call. You take one wipe against Pankraz, you're done, right? And so I don't say I knew, but you start to feel like, okay, I'm definitely behind more than I probably already was. And I was trying not to get tilted. I have expectations of myself, and no matter what race I do, whether I think I'm going to win, whether I think I'm going to lose, whether I don't know, I just want to play my best. And so it's frustrating whenever you take a wipe like that, because then you start really feeling like you don't. And so, that and oh heck, what the Baron Guard's wipe was super frustrating too. So not on my best game, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it's a rando. It's like sometimes you just get the dice are so roll your way. So it was a good race.
Thank you. I think my final hurrah and what I was really hoping for from top of tower was harp, so I could end seed on some music. That was my goal. Let me just find harp at this point, put some music on for the folks to listen to, and then I'll forfeit then. And when I saw Pink Tail, then it was, I don't know, I guess a little more funny, but I was really hoping to give that to y'all.
Yeah, we were actually kind of hoping because Pankraz, I think the 11th can we found was the twin harp, but then he followed up with Sheila 2, and it's like, all right, there's a sand rupee. We are going to get the music.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing too, and that's why I exit out of Moon, right? I think the logical play is just keep going, especially the Masa Moon ults are there. But once again, it's like I pulled the Baron Key, I pulled the Rat Tail, I've got some checks. I got the makeup checks, which is really what I should have done. And I was like, okay. But at that point, Pankraz had already won anyways.
Yeah, that was one of the faster ace seeds I've seen run. So, yeah, it was just one of those nights, and a good fight, though.
Thank you. Much appreciated. Hopefully it was a good show, even if I didn't get the win, as long as it's enjoyable.
I certainly hope the audience enjoyed it. If not, you can send all of the hate mail to the North Pole and direct it to Mr. Claus.
I don't know, man. My DMs are open too, so.
Nice.
All right. Well, thanks again for coming out and volunteering to be restreamed. Show can't go on without runners and volunteers, so we appreciate you coming on and giving us a show.
Thank you, and of course, same to everyone on the booth. Scarcer for restreaming, Stony for tracking, and Garen Rixel for doing commentary. We wouldn't have something to watch if y'all didn't volunteer your Wonder Man to show. So greatly appreciated as a runner.
We hope you had fun,
Absolutely.
and we'll see you
GGs.
again.
Yep. All right,
All
Garen,
right.
you
Well,
got
I think
any,
that's gonna about wrap it up for us tonight. It is a little bit late here in the east, almost 1 o'clock, but there's no one really running anything for Enterprise right now, so we're just going to sign off for the night. But we thank you for joining us, and we want to remind you that we have several races coming up tomorrow that we'd like to plug here real briefly. So tomorrow we have at 8 o'clock on the same channel, about 7 hours from now, we have Curios versus Douche from Two Pink Puffs dropping adamant armor versus We Forked Up is the team name. It's a Firebomb Fiesta seed. It should be pretty fun. I will hopefully be hanging out in the chat to actually spectate for a change, which would be nice. We've also got it's the only restreamed race tomorrow, 8 o'clock a.m. We do have races on Khadgar at 10 o'clock between Commander Leonhardt versus Boney. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Entry Day versus Rob Sapp Plays. And 5 o'clock from Gilmock versus Crispy Blick. And again, those will be on our Discord. And just tune in and watch those and hang out in the support. Again, Rexel, thank you so much for joining me here in the booth tonight. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thanks again to Scarcer
was a fun
for
time.
doing the restreaming and rolling this amazing ace seed. And to Stony for doing all the button pushing. It's very appreciated. And don't worry, it's like you did fine. Thanks again for joining us. Aaron, we'll have see you next time. And apologies for the slight issues with timing tonight with Discord. It's been a little bit not Twitch, just Twitch. It's been a little bit off. Have a good night.
I'll take care. Good night.